In our continued coverage of Sheetla Children's Hospital, I am now being joined by two of the people on whose shoulders rests the lives of so many very, very delicate kids, very delicate newborns. Dr. Amit and Dr. Pankaj are the real strength behind the neonatal ICU that is running at Sheetla Hospital. Let us try and understand how difficult is their life, because this is one branch most of the people choose that they will sit and just see kids as per their own convenience and would do vaccinations. What these two people have chosen is not the medical side of pediatrics. They are now fully involved. They're working like surgeons, they're working like interventional doctors and working round the clock. Most of the times these are precious little babies whose lives hang on a thin thread under the care of these superlative doctors who head a team of, in fact, a very big and very highly qualified team of very, very specialized nurses. We will take you inside those neonatal ICUs, even looking at those premature babies who are just about 400, 500 grams, at times 600 grams. It is so difficult to make them survive, and it is not a one-day thing. They stay in a neonatal ICU for close to a month or a month and a half, trying to develop the body organs and getting that chance to live a normal life. Let me welcome the two doctors. Hello, Dr. Pankaj. Hello, Dr. Amit. Dr. Amit, you are here taking a senior pediatrician and a neonatologist taking care of the neonatal ICU, and I believe this is one of the biggest NICU that the city of Gurgaon has.
We are dealing with the most premature babies and the most difficult. We get lots of referrals from out of Gurgaon also, and many babies come in a very bad condition.
In fact, a few days back I was covering the story of a little baby, which was a very interesting story about a couple from Agra who went to get the infertility treatment from Udaipur. The antenatal work was happening at Agra. The delivery took place at Delhi, and finally the baby landed up at Sheetla Hospital. So it was a journey across 4 states. Of course, apart from the good quality of work, it is always the reasonable cost that Sheetla Children's Hospital is offering to the patients, which bring them from all the far-flung areas. What are the biggest challenges in these kind of babies which are extremely underweight, say about 500, 600 grams?
The biggest challenge in them is preventing infections. And just prevention of infection costs lot of money. One has to invest a lot for maintaining sterility in each and every procedure. Even giving IV injections, one has to maintain sterile. Hand washing should be thorough. One should wear gloves, use separate syringes, separate dilutional fluids. It depends on how premature the baby is. The more premature a baby is, the more prone that baby is to infections. Above around 1200 gram birth weight, a baby is relatively free of any infection, can be handled easily at maybe any setups. But less than 1200 gram baby is very prone to infections, and any baby who is less than 1000 kg, which is labeled as extremely low birth weight baby, they are highly prone.
So, are you able to conduct any tests on these babies to determine that they have got any kind of infection, or how do you find out that they have got infection?
We do periodic septic screening tests, and of course, other than tests, even the clinical examination is very important. Very subtle signs in babies will indicate whether the baby is getting infection or not. A slight increase in oxygen requirement to maintain oxygen saturation, slight baby's perfusion becoming poor, baby not being able to tolerate feeds as well as it was till 1 day back. These will be the earliest subtle signs of infection, which has to be caught at that stage, because if treatment is delayed even by 1 day, then the mortality increases drastically. And in addition to clinical examination, we also have tests including blood count, CRP, procalcitonin, and repeated blood cultures, which is very important because ultimately the therapy will depend on the blood culture reports, which organism we are getting and what is the sensitivity of that organism. It's very important that appropriate antibiotics are started immediately as soon as the infection sets in. Any delay in starting of antibiotics is going to increase the mortality very much. If the antibiotic selected is not appropriate, the organism is not sensitive, then again the chances of mortality becomes very high. And overuse of antibiotics is again going to be counterproductive, because if you start antibiotics at the drop of a hat in every newborn baby, even when they are not having infections, supposing the baby is having any problems, you just suspect infection and go on starting antibiotics. That will over a period of time lead to resistance to those antibiotics, and then it will be very difficult to control any infection. So one has to be very judicious in deciding whether to start antibiotic, and if we are starting antibiotic, then looking at the overall picture, which is the most likely organism which is infecting the baby, and depending on that to choose the antibiotic.
Dr. Pankaj, you form a formidable team with Dr. Amit, and I've seen your teamwork when one of you is always present at the hospital. Even though you have a backup of junior consultants with you and very, very highly qualified nurses. So how challenging do you find this? These babies may turn up at any odd hour in the middle of the night, and how important it is for a senior consultant, one of you two, to be, attending to the baby as soon as the baby arrives. Do you have to come in the middle of the night quite often?
Yeah, definitely. Many times you need to come in the night hours, and whenever we get a call from our junior consultants, we just immediately rush to the hospital. And for the time being, our junior consultant take care of the babies, and within few minutes we just rush to the hospital. And as soon as we just come to know what the problem baby is having, we just try to manage the problem, either with the blood test or with the clinical assessment, and otherwise with the ventilator settings, with the babies on the ventilator. All these are the tests which help, and of course clinical assessment is also there. Basically, surfactant is a natural chemical secreted by our lungs in all the babies which have gained proper maturity. But in the babies who are born premature, the surfactant is not sufficiently secreted in their lungs. And the main role of the surfactant is to make the alveoli expanded. If the alveoli are expanded, then the lungs are mature enough. In the premature babies, as Dr. Mitra told, in the premature babies less than 1200 grams, less than 1000 grams, there is deficiency of surfactant. And when we get these babies when with the help of the X-ray we come to know how the lungs are mature, what is the maturity level of the lungs. And as soon as we ventilate the baby, just explain, these are chemical which we introduce intratracheally into the lungs just to make the lungs expanded. We are trying to do what the body of the term baby does. We are trying to do that artificially. Basically, surfactant is a artificial replacement of the surfactant secreted by the lungs in the mature babies, and we are trying to expand the lungs assisted with the ventilation. If alone we do the ventilation, it definitely the child may improve, but it prolongs the ventilation days. The surfactant definitely reduces the number of the ventilation days, and definitely the other complication associated with the
How
ventilation.
significant is the timing between delivery and when the baby reaches in your care?
Very critical. Any baby who is delivered in a setup where immediate neonatal intensive care can be provided, even if the baby has a complications, will have a much better outcome as compared to a baby who takes even 10 minutes in reaching the center. Those 5 to 10 minutes is also very critical for the baby.
Okay, so basically
it's always better to get high risk deliveries done in a setup where
neonatal backup is there.
a good neonatal backup is there.
Okay, but still, a large number of deliveries will continue to happen at these places. So what would you advise to those gynecologists or those doctors who are delivering? How should they take care of this baby, till the time the baby reaches your neonatal setup? Any kind of precautions, or are there any methods that they should adopt?
Basically, the delivery at the time of the delivery, as almost all the deliveries, all the expert pediatricians are there. And once the pediatrician is there at the time of the delivery, he knows how to manage the child immediately. And the main concern is, if the child is managed immediately, the child should be transferred in a very well managed stage. First of all, the child should be prevented from hypothermia, which is the main one of the root cause of the mortality in the children. Once the child develops hypothermia, then it automatically child gets into the state of poor perfusion. And if the child gets into state of poor perfusion, and definitely all the things, infection rates increases and the duration of the NICU stay increases. Once the referring doctor should take care of the IV assess, and the child should be transferred or referred in a IV assess in the fluid. And if the child requires breathing, artificial breathing, so definitely a doctor along with the nursing staff should be assisted with the patient.
But still, I say the priority should be that if possible, the patient should be referred before delivery so that the delivery takes place at the center with a neonatal backup. Because even with the best of the facilities, transporting a sick baby is a big challenge.
It's a big challenge. It's not. It's fraught with risks and risks to the life, and of course, then you are separating the mother and the newborn. That also
because many times baby requires interventions in between. During transport, it may take around half an hour or maybe even 1 hour, and within 5 minutes, the baby may be requiring certain interventions, maybe requiring a blood gas analysis to decide what further treatment to give. So that cannot be done during transport. During transport, we will be able to manage ventilation. With the transport ventilation, we will be able to maintain temperature, giving a thermoneutral environment.
So, Dr. Anu, you get so many of these complicated deliveries, the difficult deliveries. How different it is when you have the backup of such an amazing team, such huge infrastructure, does that give you superior confidence in handling virtually any complicated delivery at the hospital?
Definitely. We have a when we are operating, we are doing the deliveries at a setup where we have given good neonatal backup. No doubt the stress of the surgeon is also less as compared to the setup we are operating the patient or delivering the patient at a setup where there is no backup.
And emotionally, go ahead.
Actually, we are more relaxed at this stage. We know that they will manage the baby as well as we will extract the baby from the mother.
So
there will be no time lag will be there.
Emotionally also it is good for the mother and the baby to be side by side.
No doubt about it. Because mothers are always, they are more relaxed and they are confident also. And no doubt, everything, there is no time lag and they are relaxed that we are at the center and there will be no hassle and bustle after the baby is delivered. That thing is not there.
So while there are many centers of excellence, Delhi has its Kalavati Children Hospital, the kind of work that is being done at Sheetla Children Hospital, I would definitely like to compliment you, team of doctors, your third partner, senior pediatrician, Dr. Vandita Sharma, and your junior consultants. Your team is doing a wonderful work in providing succor to these babies, whichever strata of the society that they come from. You're not only taking good care of their health, but also doing it at a very, very affordable prices. Thank you very much, Dr. Amit. Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Thank you, Dr.